Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 best movie sequels of all time, in my opinion. Again, like my top 10 Leonardo DiCaprio's list, this is a recommendation I've been having for like 2 years now. Everyone's been wanting me to do my favorite movie sequels of all time. This has been a huge recommendation. I finally get to do it now. But, however, I have a different spin on this top 10 list because I thought of all the best movie sequels of all time, and honestly, there's like a gazillion of them, and I thought to actually make a proper top 10 list, I would have to do a top 20 best movie sequels of all time, and that's fine. I've done top 20 lists before, but I thought I'd do something even more different. I thought I would add a unique spin to this top 10 list. I'm only doing the best sequels in my opinion, but the sequel has to be better than the original film. So yeah, that's the different twist I'm having on this top 10 list, because I'm trying to make this top 10 list a little more difficult and a little more different than most top 10 best movie sequels lists, because honestly, everyone has done top 10 best movie sequels, so I wanted to do a different spin on it. So yeah, I'm only doing the best sequels that are better than its predecessor. So yeah, again, if this was a different top 10 list, I would have different movies on it and stuff, and yeah, just so like everyone doesn't freak out and everything. The reason that you're not going to see great movie sequels on this top 10 list is because I don't think that movie is not like it's a bad movie or anything. I just don't think it's better than the original film. So you're not going to see like Terminator 2 on this, because I think Terminator 1's better. I think Alien is better than Aliens. I think Godfather 1 is better than Godfather 2. Even Superman, I like Superman better than Superman 2 and stuff. So if you don't see a good movie sequel on this top 10 list, the reason you don't see it is because it's not better than its predecessor. So yeah, that's the only different spin I have on this top 10 list. So yeah, if you guys don't like that, I apologize. I just wanted to do something different with this top 10 best movie sequels list. So yeah, let's try to have fun with it, shall we? So yeah, let's get to it. Here's the top 10 best movie sequels in my opinion. And before our top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. So my honorable mentions are The Color of Money, The Raid 2, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Ouija Origin of Evil, Scream 2, and How to Train Your Dragon 2. All good movies, just couldn't make the top 10 list. But damn, my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is Spider-Man 2. Yes, the web-slinging Spider-Man himself. Tss, tss, I did the rock on. Tss. I love Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man Sam Raimi film is a great movie. Tobey Maguire is great. Willem Dafoe is deliciously over the top. I even liked James Franco as Harry. Even Kirsten Dunst, even though she was a dumbass in distress, she still is a very likable, very charming actress in all the films. Spider-Man 2 upped it even more, and it was even better than the first one. The first one is a damn good movie, but Spider-Man 2 was just had a more emotional, impactful story. I love the Aunt May speech about, a hero gives up everything, even their dreams and stuff. It's powerful dialogue. Rosemary Harris is so great. She's amazing as Aunt May. That's like perfect casting. Maybe Marissa Tomei will be great in Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm also really looking forward to Spider-Man Homecoming, but yeah. Anyway, Spider-Man 2 is great. I love Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. I love the demons Harry fights in this movie. I love Tobey Maguire again. He's great in this movie. He also talks about how he wants to give up being Spider-Man because again, Peter Parker is still a human being with feelings and he wants to have a life, and I love that story about someone not wanting to be a superhero anymore and losing his powers, and it's an interesting story. It's a very deep story. J.K. Simmons is always great as J. Jonah Jameson, and everything about this movie is great. The action is even better. The dramatic scenes are better. Everything about this movie is better. There's even a lot of better comedy in this. I love the cameo of Bruce Campbell as the freaking doorman. So funny. I just love Spider-Man 2. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie and definitely one of my favorite sequels. Number 2 is Evil Dead 2. Yes, The Evil Dead was a good movie, but it was a bit dated, a bit cheesy. And, Sam Raimi wanted to go a more comedic route, and that's what he did with Evil Dead 2. Groovy. I love Bruce Campbell in this movie. And again, it's another Sam Raimi movie. The way Sam Raimi directed this movie, how it was a horror movie but also a straight-up comedy, it is hilarious. I love the Evil Dead movies, and most importantly, Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is just so freaking hysterical. It's got great practical effects, an amazing performance by Bruce Campbell, great direction by Sam Raimi, and it's just a blast of a film and a great sequel. Come Coming number 8 is Mad Max Fury Road. Yes, oh, what a lovely day. What a lovely day. Just so good. Some people might debate, like, this is not a sequel. Some people don't call Mad Max Fury Road a sequel. Some people call it a reimagining, a different kind of story, even though it's still the 4th installment in the Mad Max franchise. I call it a sequel. It's a sequel, even though it's got different actors portraying the roles. You got Tom Hardy as Mad Max. You got Charlize Theron as Furiosa. You got Moto Joe, played by the same actor in the first Mad Max movie, and you got Nicholas Hoult, Zoe Kravitz, a lot of great actors, great performances in this movie. I love that this movie is an action movie, and it was nominated for Best Picture and George Miller for Best Director. That's just amazing. Some people call this movie style over substance. I do not. It has a lot of substance, has great storytelling. It is one of the only action movies I can think of that uses action sequences to tell a story. That is just brilliant. That is just amazing. It's just like Baby Driver. Like, it used music to tell a story. Like, I love unique ways of storytelling in cinema now, and just Mad Max Fury Road just blew me away. It's one of the greatest action movies I have ever seen, and I absolutely love it. And of course, it's one of the best sequels. Coming number 7 is Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. Yes, the first Hellboy movie was a very good movie. There was a few moments that were kind of forgettable, but I loved Ron Perlman in the movie, and I did enjoy the story, and I loved Guillermo del Toro's direction. Hellboy 2 was even better. It upped the stakes. The characters were more interesting. I liked Selma Blair's character more. I liked Doug Jones's character more. And again, Ron Perlman was more compelling. I liked Seth MacFarlane. I liked the villain. I loved the better action sequences. They were a lot more gritty, a lot more violent, a lot more darker. And this story was a little more interesting and a lot more captivating and stuff. And even by the ending of this movie, it kind of builds like there's going to be another one, but we're never going to get a Hellboy 3, which is sad. It's very sad. I know they're rebooting the franchise and having David Harbour from Stranger Things in it. I'm sad, though. I wanted Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman to finish it up and make a trilogy, but that'll never happen. But still, Hellboy 2 is still a great film and definitely one of the best sequels. Coming number 6 is The Bourne Ultimatum. The Bourne Ultimatum is such an amazing film. Even though I love The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy is also a great film. Great action, great performance by Matt Damon, a great villain and stuff. And you dive into more details about Treadstone, and I love The Bourne Supremacy. Bourne Legacy was terrible. Jason Bourne, not a good movie. Bourne Identity is probably like one of my favorites as well, but Bourne Ultimatum just a little bit better. I like the story a little more in Bourne Identity, but the story of this movie is still good. The action is just so amazing, and the way this movie is directed, Paul Greengrass just did an amazing job. Just filmmaking, through a filmmaking standpoint, this is a better film than Bourne Identity. The shaky cam is used as a style, not as a gimmick. The action is just so much bigger, more grand. There's so much stakes in this movie. Matt Damon's performance is even way more compelling in this movie than it is in all the other films. I like Julia Stiles. She actually has more of a purpose in this movie. And again, you learn more about information about Treadstone. You learn who Jason Bourne really is. And it's just a lot more interesting, a lot more emotional, impactful, and it's more insightful and stuff. And again, I love the first Bourne movie, but Bourne Ultimatum, I think through a filmmaking standpoint, it is a better film, so that's why it's one of the best sequels. Coming number 5 is Before Sunset. Yes, everyone knows that I love the Before trilogy. Richard Linklater, what he did with these movies. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy are both fantastic. Again, I love the whole trilogy. As a whole, I consider them all like one big movie and stuff, like Lord of the Rings. Yes, I know, Lord of the Rings is not on this top 10 list. I know everyone's like, whoa, where's Return of the King? I like Fellowship a little better, so... But yeah, when it comes to the Before trilogy, if I had to choose, I think Before Sunset is the better film. I think it's better than Before Sunrise, even though it's still an amazing film. I just like the dialogue in this movie. I love that it's an hour and 20 minutes, but it's actually an hour and 20 minutes in the film. The whole movie is literally one giant conversation, which I find more interesting. The dialogue's more interesting. You want to know where the story's going more in this one than in all the films. The chemistry is so much stronger in this movie with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. I just love the topics they talk about, and I love the comedic aspects. And I still think the ending to this movie is one of the greatest endings in cinema. I absolutely adore it. And yeah, this whole trilogy, I think, is so underrated and people just need to see it. And yeah, this sequel, one of the best sequels. Coming Coming number 4 is Captain America Civil War. Yes, everyone knows that I love Civil War. I've talked about this a shit ton of times. It's amazing. It's one of the best movies of last year, one of the best superhero movies of last year. And that's saying something because there was a lot of great superhero movies last year, like Deadpool and Doctor Strange. This movie is just great. It's Avengers 2.5. The way the Russo brothers directed this film, Downey Jr., Chris Evans, the whole cast is fantastic. How it builds on to this franchise, how it's building to the Infinity War, how it builds onto all the other films coming up, like Black Panther and stuff. It's so great. It's so well shot. The action sequences, especially the airport scene, is amazing. The dramatic scenes are so deep and heavy-handed. Everything about this movie is amazing. It's one of the best superhero movies ever, one of the best MCU movies, and one of the best sequels. Coming number 3 is Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Yes, Khan! Khan! Yeah, this is great. This is directed by Nicholas Meyer. Yes, Nicholas Meyer. I was about to say Nicholas Stoller. No, that's forgetting Sarah Marshall. Nicholas Meyer directed this movie. He also wrote Undiscovered Country and Voyage Home and stuff. But yeah, this movie's amazing. I love this movie. The motion picture was a ginormous disappointment to all Star Trek fans. I still enjoy the film. I still think it's a pretty decent movie, but this is what all the Star Trek fans wanted. They wanted to see the return of Khan in a truly remarkable Star Trek movie, and debatably the best Star Trek movie ever made. It is. It is a great film. Phenomenal performances. The scene with Spock dying is probably one of the most saddest scenes in all of cinema. Oh my god. I shall forever and always be your friend. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and the one. Live long and prosper. I miss Leonard Nimoy. Coming number 2 is The Dark Knight. Yes, why so serious? Wanna know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. Yes, I miss Heath Ledger as well. Why are so many good actors dying? Anyways, Christopher Nolan, how he wrote and directed this movie was amazing. Christian Bale's Batman was awesome. He was amazing in Batman Begins, but even more awesome in this movie. You know, he gets a little carried away with his voice. I'm not wearing hockey pads. So great. I love it. I love that Scarecrow's in this movie. I love that they put Two-Face at the ending. Aaron Eckhart is so great. He's so quotable in this movie. Either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. The night is darkest before the dawn. Let me tell you something. The dawn shall rise. I make my own luck. So great. Aaron Eckhart's great. Heath Ledger totally deserved the freaking Oscar win. It's a tour de force performance. The direction's fantastic. It's amazingly well structured. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time, and it's the best sequel of all time. Well, the second best sequel of all time. And my number 1 best movie sequel, or favorite movie sequel of all time, is The Empire Strikes Back. It's The Empire. It's The Empire Strikes Back. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Right there with Blade Runner, Casablanca, Rear Window, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's all there. It is a phenomenal film. It's the best Star Wars movie. It has the best stakes. It's the bigger stakes. The best story. The best character arcs. The best lines ever. One of the greatest movie twists of all time. I am your father. So great. The scenes with Luke and Yoda at the Dagobah system, amazing. One of the best training sequences. It's so insightful, so clever, so dark. The way Lawrence Kasdan wrote this movie was amazing. The way Irvin Kershner directed this movie was amazing. Harrison Ford probably should have been nominated for an Academy Award. That's how amazing he was in this movie. I absolutely love everything about The Empire Strikes Back. Everyone knows that I love this movie to death, and of course, it is my favorite movie sequel of all time. So yeah, that was my top 10 best movie sequels of all time. I hope you enjoyed the unique spin on this top 10 list. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, what do you think are the top 10 best movie sequels of all time in your opinion? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.